How to program a key fob. Key fobs are useful for starting the engine, turning on the alarm, opening the trunk, and opening the car door. Signal transfer between the electronic key, fob, and the car is required to enable these hands-free vehicle functions. Nevertheless, a problem with signal delivery is a common cause of fob malfunction. Now, the question is, how can you program a key fob? Well, in this video, we'll walk you through how you can program the key fob yourself. Nonetheless, we'll discuss some of the things you need to know about programming a key fob. So, let's dive in. What should you know about the key fob system? In general, key fobs improve security in two ways: by restricting entry into a vehicle and by enabling vehicle starting. RF technology was previously employed to increase car entry security, but it performed less well due to simple programming and signal manipulation. There was also the infrared system, which involved directing a security remote at the intended vehicle. So, can you program the key fob yourself? You might be able to program a replacement yourself, depending on the make and type of your vehicle. The steps for programming a key fob yourself can differ. Owner's manuals from certain automakers include instructions. On the internet, information is frequently available, which is the reason why you've visited this site. Is programming a key fob difficult? Programming a key fob can vary in difficulty depending on the specific make and model of the key fob, as well as the type of vehicle or device it is being used with. Using the instructions in the owner's handbook or internet resources, the owner can easily program some key fobs. However, other key fobs can need specialized equipment or professional programming. Now, how do you program a key fob? It's crucial to note that different vehicle models employ different key fobs before outlining the necessary fob programming steps. With regard to the market's most common key fobs, we have put together a straightforward approach. However, others will need specialized reconfiguration, which is more difficult and almost certainly needs the help of a specialist. However, if you still want to try it, just follow these reprogramming instructions. 1. Replace the batteries in the key fob. First, exhausted batteries in your key fob may probably be the cause of its malfunction. Additionally, the operation will be more effective with faster frequency transmissions if the key fob batteries are changed prior to reprogramming. Fortunately, key fob batteries are simple to swap out and, what's more, they're inexpensive and widely accessible. 2. Enter the car. Get into the driver's seat of your automobile while holding the key fob that has to be reprogrammed in your hand. Do not forget your car keys, if you have them. Next, shut all of the doors. Even one door left open could interfere with the configuration. 3. Turn on the ignition. Turn the key system to the on position if you're using it. This process is required to power the electrical components of your car, including the key fob system as a whole. To prevent any interruptions of your fob, make sure your ignition is not in radio mode before starting it. Remember, you shouldn't actually start the engine. Instead, just switch the ignition on. 4. Simply press the remote lock button key. Press the lock button on the fob while the key is in the on position, then immediately turn the key back to the off position. The cycle must resonate with the on position even though it ought to end with the off position. Repeat this process 3 times. 5. Keep an ear out for a locking sound. Pressing the lock button on the fob will produce a lock sound when you cycle the power on and off repeatedly. This noise indicates that the reprogramming mode has started. If you don't hear the lock sound the first time or after a few more times, you'll usually need to repeat step 4. Press the lock button on your key fob one more in the following 5 seconds to finish programming after entering programming mode. 6. Program additional remotes, optional. For up to 3 remotes, you can fortunately repeat the programming procedure. If you have multiple remotes, make sure to hit the lock button on the target fob within 10 seconds of hearing the lock sound, which indicates programming mode has begun. Keep in mind that the lock button must be pressed on the primary remote after 5 seconds and the secondary remote after 10 seconds. While you're about it, we advise being cautious when doing the initial programming steps when adding additional key fobs. Most of the time, while reprogramming several remotes, it is very likely to wipe data from other fobs. In order to program the next fob, you need to turn the ignition to the on position, push the lock button on the new fob, and then turn the ignition off once more. To prevent delays between operations that would make the cycles ineffective, promptly reprogram the successive fobs. 7. Turn off the ignition. Don't forget to end the programming procedure after you've reconfigured all of your fobs. Just turn off the ignition of your car to accomplish this. Remember that speedy execution of all operations, including this one, is the key to successful reprogramming. Additionally, after quickly shutting off your car and removing the ignition key, press the lock button on the fob. Test your key fobs outside of your car. Testing is necessary to determine whether this method was successful. Before testing the reprogrammed fob using the lock and unlocking features, get out of your car and make sure all the doors are shut. You can think about hiring a professional if your fob is unresponsive despite having new batteries and trying the process again. Don't worry, some automakers don't want their key fobs to be simple to modify for better security. In these situations, they advise seeking the advice of specialists who use particular software and hardware for reprogramming. Notably, professional key fob programming can be costly, but your neighborhood auto locksmith firm will likely be less expensive than your official automobile dealer. So, there you have it. Programming a key fob doesn't have to be a daunting task. With our step-by-step guide, you've learned how to do it yourself and save both time and money. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more handy automotive tutorials. And remember, when it comes to car maintenance, knowledge is key. Thanks for watching, and happy driving.